صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا ابن رسول الله. صلى الله عليك يا سيدي ويا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله يا مظلوم يا غريب كربلاء، يا ليتنا كنا معكم سيدي فنفوز فوزا عظيما. Imam Hussain stood alone on that morning, looking into the distance to find 30,000 warriors before him. He only had 72 men. But he said, there are no companions like my companions. Imam al-Hussein's companions went out to fight one by one. One by one they would fall and attain martyrdom. The time for the Dhuhr prayer had come. Imam al-Hussain requested for the battle to be paused so that he may pray, and his request was granted. He came towards his final salat, and as he entered into the prayer, the enemies began to fire their arrows towards Abu Abdullah. But the Imam's companion Sa'id went and stood in the way, holding his shield. The arrows would pierce the shield, but they also pierced Sa'id's body from head to toe as he stood as a shield before the Imam. As Imam al-Hussain finished his prayer, Sa'id fell to the ground. Imam al-Hussain came towards his friend. Sa'id asked him, Mawlai, did I make you proud? Did I live up to being your soldier and companion? Imam al-Hussain said, Naam ya Sa'id, I see you before me in Jannah. Send my salams to Rasulullah. Send my salams to Amirul Mu'mineen. And tell them Al-Hussain wahidan ghariba بكربلاء. Tell them Al-Hussain is by himself in Karbala. The Imam went to the tent. As the companions went one by one, a young orphan child of one of the companions of Abu Abdullah came forward and said, Sayyidi, grant me the permission to go and fight with you. Imam al-Hussain looked at him, told him, my son, go back to the tent. Your mother is already heartbroken. Your father just gave his life. The young boy said, Mawlai, my mother's the one who told me to come and ask you. His mother came out of the tent, held her son, and brought him to Imam al-Hussain. She said, Mawlai, accept me, accept my son. so that I can face Zahra on that final day. One by one, the family of Rasulullah went out to fight. Ali al-Akbar went out. Even Qasim went out. Until Abu Abdullah was alone. Abu Fadl al-Abbas heard the thirsty cries of the children. He went to get them the water. But Abu Fadl ended up without arms, without eyes, with a fractured skull, mutilated in the sands of Karbala, telling his master Hussain, Mawlai, don't take me back to the tent. I cannot bear for Sukaina to see me this way. Imam Hussain stood alone in Karbala. Even the young thirsty baby had an arrow pierce its neck, and its thirst was quenched with blood instead of water. Imam al-Hussain stood around the camp. He began to walk towards all the tents. He went to the tents of the sons of Ali, and he found it empty. He went to the tents of the sons of Aqil, and he found it empty. He went to the tents of the sons of Al-Hassan, and he found it empty. Wahida, Ghariba. He walked and he stood in the middle of the camp, and he dug his sword into the ground, and he called Abbas, Akbar, Habib, Qasim. I call you all, but I hear no reply. بالأمس كانوا معي واليوم قد رحلوا. You were with me last night, but now everyone's gone. Only I stand in front of the enemies. Only I defend the camp of the Ahlul Bayt. هل من ناصر ينصرنا. Imam al-Sajjad could barely stand. He called his aunt Zainab. My aunt, give me a stick and give me a sword. Zainab brought him a sword. He took in his right hand, and she got him a stick, and he used it to stand. And Zainab held his arm so he could walk outside of the tent, and he called out, Labbaik ya Mawla, ya Abu Abdullah. He could barely stand, and he'd shout, Labbaik, Labbaik. Imam al-Hussain said, Zainab, bring my son back to the tent. The descendants of Rasulullah must remain alive. The Ahlul Bayt must continue. My family come to Sajjad's tent. Their family all came into the tent of Ali Sajjad. He told them all, this is Ali ibn al-Hussein. He is your new master after me. Ya Ali, take care of the woman, wipe the tears of the orphans, be their patience in this time. My son Ali. Then he leaned into his ear and said, بلغ شيعتي عني السلام. He was thinking of his followers that were not there. He said, send my salams to my Shia, O Shia of Hussain. On that day, Abu Abdullah sent his salams to you. Respond with your hearts. Alayka salam, ya Mawlai. Take your heart to Karbala. Alayka salam, ya Mawlai. The Imam began to say his goodbyes one by one. Each child brought to his chest, but he looked for Sukaina. He could not find her. They told him, Ya Hussein, Sukaina sits alone behind the tent. Imam Hussain went to sit next to Sukaina. He said, daughter, why aren't you with the family so I can say goodbye? She said, Mawla, Ya Abi, my father, I've said too many goodbyes today. I said goodbye to Akbar. They even took Asghar. Ammar Abbas didn't come back. How can I say goodbye to you? Baba, are you going to leave as well? Imam al-Hussein's heart was aching as Sukaina cried in front of him. He said, my daughter Sukaina, I can't bear to see you cry. She said, Baba, put your hands on my head. Touch my head as they stroke the heads of the orphans. For in 1 hour I will also become an orphan. Imam al-Hussein held Sukaina tight, kissed her on the head, took her to the tent. He said his goodbye to the family. He got onto his horse, and as the horse began to move, he heard a noise from behind him. Mahlan, mahlan, ibn al-Zahra. Akhi ya Hussein. Sayyidah Zainab comes out of the tent, calling her brother in the clothes of her mother Fatima. Imam al-Hussein was surprised. The hair stood on his skin. He immediately got off the horse and he said, Zainab, why are you wearing mother's clothes? Sayyidah Zainab came. She said, expose to me your neck and show me your chest. So the Imam lifted his scarf and showed her his neck and chest. She leaned in to kiss his neck. She leaned in to kiss his neck and his chest. And then she turned towards Medina and she said, Mother, the amana has been fulfilled. Imam Abdullah said, What amana, Ya Zainab? Zainab said, Brother, before our mother left this world, she told me that when your brother is alone in that land on that day, I want you to kiss his chest and kiss his neck for me. Because that chest will be the chest that the horses will trample. And that neck will be the neck where the swords will cut. The amana has been fulfilled. Abu Abdullah embraced Zainab for the final time. Goodbye, my brother. Goodbye, Hussain. Abu Abdullah got onto his horse. He charged towards the enemies, calling out, Ana al-Ali, Ana al-Hussain ibn Ali ibn Abi Talib. Ferocious on the battlefield, none can stand in his way. Umar ibn Sa'd said if we don't all attack at once, he will be killing us for the entire day. Separate into different groups. There was a group for spears, a group for swords, a group for arrows, and a group for stones. And they began to throw the stones towards Abu Abdullah as he would fight the enemies, and they would strike his arms, his chest, and his face would become bloody, and the blood would drip down from his head, and he would keep fighting, and the arrows began to rain down. And Abu Abdullah was becoming exhausted, but he would keep fighting until a three-pronged arrow hit the heart of Abu Abdullah, and the poison flowed through his blood. And Imam Hussain was losing his breath, and he kept reciting La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And every time he stopped and bent down to the ground to catch his breath, Umar ibn Sa'd would say, attack the tents, as Imam al-Hussain would hither. He stands back up, barely any life in his body. Blood dripping from head to toe. Body covered in wounds. Arrows all throughout his body. He calls out, as long as I breathe, no one will attack the tent. He comes to fight once more, and the enemies overwhelm him, stabbing him, striking him, until the Imam falls to the ground, barely any life left in his body, trying to move, and his eyes are on the tent. The enemies all surround him. No one wants to come forward and finish him. They see the light emanating from his face. Mawla, I wish it was my name. instead of your neck. I wish it was my family instead of your family. I wish it was my chest instead of your chest. They surround the Imam. They begin taking his clothes. A man wants to remove a ring from the finger of Imam Hussain, but he could not take it off. So he severed the finger of Abu Abdullah. Now he lay there bloodied and bruised, mutilated, eyes still on the turns, and Shimar walks forward and takes his dagger, and he sits upon the chest of Abu Abdullah, and he begins to stab the body of Abu Abdullah. And he takes Hussain by the beard, and he lifts his chin, and he sees his neck. Wa Hussaina. And he places the sword on his neck, and he begins to cut the neck of Hussain. حب الحسين يجمع